Greetings to you today and welcome to our daily Devo on this Wednesday, the 29th of May today. Our devotion is entitled On Communication, and the half of the Devo that's a work from Charles Dickens is entitled The Wreck of the Golden Mary. On communication. One day, I told them that nothing vanished from the eye of God, though much might pass away from the eyes of men. We were all of us, says I, children once, and our baby feet have strolled in green woods ashore, and our baby hands have gathered flowers in gardens where the birds were singing. The children that we were are not lost to the great knowledge of our Creator. Those innocent creatures will appear with us before Him and plead for us. The purest part of our lives will not desert us at the pass to which all of us here present are gliding. What we were then will be as much in existence before Him as what we are now. We were in no want of rainwater, but we had nothing else. And yet, I never turned my eyes upon a waking face, but it tried to brighten before mine. Oh, what a thing it is, in a time of danger and in the presence of death, the shining of a face upon a face. I have heard it broached that orders should be given in great new ships by electric telegraph. I admire machinery and am so thankful to it as any man can be for what it does for us. But it will never be a substitute for the face of a man, with his soul in it, encouraging another man to be brave and true. I like that line. It will never be a substitute for the face of a man with his soul in it. It's all much better to talk to someone in person, isn't it? To be able to see their face and hear their voice and the expressions that go with the voice and the face. It's real. It's tangible. As opposed to the second best that we have these days, I guess, and that's on a computer or a cell phone or whatever, but it's still not in person. Yeah, communication in person is the best because you can read the mind, you can read the emotions, you can read the facial gestures, all of that, and that's the best way. Here are the thoughts now from Gene Fisher. Charles Dickens's The Wreck of the Golden Mary tells the story of a shipwreck. En route from England to America, the Golden Mary strikes an iceberg while rounding Cape Horn. She sinks, and her passengers and crew are left stranded in rowboats waiting to be rescued. The narrator of the passage above, a man named William George Ravender, remarks about the benefits of communicating face-to-face rather by the then modern telegraph. Had Dickens written this story today, he might well be making the comparison to any number of today's electronic devices. With technology, we have the benefit of reaching a great number of people in a short time. However, it robs us of the benefits of face-to-face communications, the innumerable expressions and reactions in a person's voice and face. This can lead to carelessness with our written and spoken words. The Bible says reckless words pierce like a sword, Proverbs 12:18, and a harsh word stirs up anger, Proverbs 15:1. Like William George Ravender, we can admire new technology and the ways in which it can help us, but we must not misuse it or let it control our lives. There is no better substitute for the shining of a face upon a face when witnessing to non-believers and when fellowshipping with one another. Acts 2:42. They devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and to the fellowship, to the breaking of bread, and to prayer. Evidently, Gene Fisher and I were on the same page there with the in-person conversations. Back a few years when politics were beginning to divide the country more than normal, worse than normal, and COVID came, social media became a place where people disagreed and they didn't do it nicely. We misread comments. We misunderstood the intent of the words shared, and our responses would echo that. Friends were lost. Things were said maybe meant in one way but taken in another. It's definitely not the place to have a serious conversation about serious things. And I did my best to stay away from that after learning my lesson over some time there and realizing we can't really have a meeting of the minds when we're not face to face, where we can't get the sense of what's in our hearts, not just what's coming from our mouths or our fingers in that case. I failed in doing that not too long ago and tried to share some thoughts over social media, personal, not publicly, but directly, and it wasn't understood the way I wished it would have been understood for that very reason. For that very reason, no in-person communication. And if we've got something important to talk about, we've got to find a way to do it in person. We've got to share our hearts together and not trust that the text message or the post that's made, the Twitter post that's made, or whatever we use, that it's going to get it done right. The tongue can become even more dangerous on social media than in person. On communication. Let's sit down and reason together. That's the best way to do it. Blessings to you today on this Wednesday.